Hi again, this is Dylan from Teach English Spain, and this is another episode in the podcast, Teach English Spain, in which we talk about everything related to teaching English as a foreign language in this fantastic country. So in this episode, I would like to talk about 15 reasons why I think you should take a TEFL course. And before I start, I just want to remind you that we run Trinity Cert TESOL courses in Granada, which is a wonderful city. It's a magical city. So I can think of no better place to do your teacher training. So why take a TEFL course? Well, the reason why I took a TEFL course, and I did mine in 1996. Imagine, this was prehistoric. Smartphones didn't even exist there. The internet was, I think, had just begun at that point. Well, the reason why I took a TEFL course in that year was the standard one. I finished university, I wanted to travel, and I saw teaching English as a foreign language as a way that I could travel and fund my travels and move around the world. I had a real yearning to go to Mexico in particular. That was my dream. I made it there eventually, a few years later, but I didn't manage to do that straight after my course. And I took a Trinity Cert TESOL course just outside London in 1996, and it was a wonderful decision. I loved it. It was a great course. Now, when I took the course, though, there were quite a few people on the course, and strangely enough, there was only one other person on the course like me. The rest of the trainees were older, and they had lots of reasons for taking the course. One was, she was an amateur linguist, I think. She spoke about 6 languages. And she had a family and she wanted to work part-time, so she thought, well, she could do some work helping people in her community improve their English. There was another woman who was half Turkish, and she was thinking of moving to Turkey, where her family was still, and she thought it would be a great way to actually go there and work. Another lady was, I think she was born to Polish parents, but she moved to London when she was 5 or 6. And she wanted to work with the local Polish community in the north of London. So there are lots of different reasons why people take a TEFL course. And we have this idea that it's a course for people, generally young people, who want to take a gap year. Maybe they have just finished university, or they take a year out and want to travel around the world, and they see teaching English as a foreign language a way to do that, which is fine. But as I said, there are people like me who do the TEFL course because we want to travel, and then 20 years later we find ourselves still working in the English as a foreign language sector. So it is true that lots of gap year students take TEFL courses. I don't know, maybe 40-50%. But actually, I've been training now for about 9 years, and I've trained lots of people who have decided to come to Spain to start a new life, and they were in their 50s. Other people just love Spain and they wanted to move to Spain and start a new life here. Other people had like a professional interest in learning languages, and they felt that they could improve their Spanish by coming here and thought, okay, well, if I live in Spain for a year, I need work, so I can teach English and improve my Spanish. In fact, one of them, I think she went back to the United States, and now she's working in a university teaching Spanish. So there are lots of reasons, and basically doing a TEFL course, teaching English as a foreign language, allows you to do something different with your life. You may not make an enormous amount of money, although the English language teaching industry does make an enormous amount of money. Apparently it's like 1.2 billion, and that's just in the UK, although that may change with Brexit. But for most of us teachers, we don't make an enormous amount of money, necessarily. But money isn't the only reason to do something, is it? Okay, you may disagree with me there. So I'm going to talk about 15 reasons why doing a TEFL course might be a good idea for you. Reason number 1. You're interested in teaching, but you're not sure you want to take a teaching degree yet. So teaching English as a foreign language is a great way to test the waters and discover if teaching is A, something that you might enjoy doing, and B, something you might be quite good at doing. And TEFL courses are much cheaper than teaching degrees. So most TEFL courses are between €1,000 and €2,000 or $1,000 and $2,000 or £1,000, £1,300, and you can basically recoup your investment in quite a short time. If you work for a couple of months, that will generally pay for the course. So it's a good way of testing the water, maybe teach English for a year, and then you might go back to your home country and do a degree in education, which again is something that lots of teachers I've trained have actually done. Number 2, you love the English language and you love telling people about it. So actually, if you're really into language, teaching English as a foreign language can be a surprisingly creative and fun way of teaching. And these teachers who have a real passion for the English language can find very innovative ways of helping their students improve their English. I've done poetry with my students, I've got them writing film scripts, I've got them recording podcasts, writing short stories, lots of different creative ways to actually get people to really get into using the language. So it's not only just about teaching grammar rules, okay? Doesn't have to be boring, it can be very creative as well. So another reason is, of course, the obvious one. You're thinking of taking a gap year and you need to support yourself while you're abroad. You do a TEFL course, you teach English as a foreign language, you gain some invaluable skills which will help you when it comes to looking for a job after the course. Your public speaking, time management, creating things like syllabus, working with kids, dealing with the unexpected challenges of living in a different country. This can all actually make you a more employable candidate for jobs in other sectors. Another reason number 4, you've just graduated and you're not sure what you want to do next. Now, it's very common when you finish your university degree and you think, what do I do now? I've got a degree in physics, but I'm not sure I want to become a scientist. I've just studied accounting for 4 years, but do I really want to get into accountancy? So it's a great thing to do before taking your next decision and maybe investing in another course of study or investing in a very expensive training program. It is a way to spend the next year after you've graduated doing something maybe much more enjoyable. And it will teach you a lot about yourself if you go to another country and experience a different culture and do something very different. Now, some people are retired and they've been working in a different sector. Maybe they've been working in real estate or the insurance industry for many years, and they've left this industry. Maybe they're in semi-retirement and they think, well, I'd like to live abroad for a while. But I'd like to continue working. So remember, teaching English, if you're a more mature person, gets you out and about, it gets you meeting interesting people, you can actually meet people from your local community, Spanish people. And if you have some professional experience, let's say you've worked in the business, in the corporate world for 20 or 30 years, well, that can really help you if you work in the teaching business English sector. So if I'm a Spanish businessman or businesswoman and I want to improve my English for my work, then I would rather work with someone who spent a lot of time in industry, in the corporate world, than maybe a 19, 20-year-old gap year student who may be quite good at teaching English but doesn't really know much about the corporate world. So you can actually develop a niche for yourself as a business English teacher. Or if you've worked in the chemical industry, there are lots of jobs there working with people from a particular sector. English for accountants, English for nurses, English for, lawyers. Okay? There are lots of special English sectors there, which we call Teaching English for Specific Purposes, ESP, that you could become involved in. Now, of course, number 6 is you've always wanted to live and work in another country. I mean, who hasn't? Sometimes you just have this urge to go and do something different. Spain's a pretty great country to live in, actually. Crime is relatively low, it's relatively safe here, people are relatively friendly. It's a good place to live. And of course, the weather, the culture, the food, the drink, they're all pretty fantastic. So I can think of worse places to live. Number 7. You're feeling worn out or dissatisfied with your current job and you just want to do something different. Well, if you're fed up with working in an office cubicle, staring at a computer screen all day, teaching English as a foreign language gets you into a classroom, gets you working with lots of different people. It's a social job. You'll meet people from lots of different backgrounds. It's a lot of fun. So, and also the results, it can be quite a rewarding job because you do actually see people improving every day and they're very grateful for the help you can give to them. Number 8, you've been made redundant and you're looking for a change of career. Now, teaching English has a steep, but it's quite a short learning curve. The 4-week course is very intensive and you're really out of your comfort zone often. When you start working, this first 3 or 4 months can be quite difficult, but then after that period of time, you can be quite a good teacher. So it's not like some jobs where you need to work for 5-6 years before you really feel comfortable doing the job. I think by the end of your first year teaching, you'll probably be quite competent and you'll be quite an effective English language teacher. So it's a relatively cheap way of starting a new career. Another reason for teaching English as a foreign language and taking a TEFL course is if you're a qualified teacher and you want to move to another country. Okay, so you may have been teaching geography or history for many years and you can use those teaching skills to become an EFL teacher. And the 4-week course will just show you some new skills, some new activities, a new way of thinking, a new way of planning. And I've actually had a number of trainee teachers who have professional teaching experience who have done the course and have told me at the end of the course that they found it as valuable, even more valuable than the 1 or 2 year teaching course they took in their own country. So it is a very practical course. It's very dynamic. So that's another reason why if you're a professional teacher, you might want to take it. And then you can teach English or maybe even move into the state school or the schools here, which the international schools here, which often require people to teach other subjects apart from English. Another reason to take a TEFL course is if you're already here in Spain and you're a professional, maybe you're an IT consultant or you're an accountant or you're a lawyer, and you can find it quite difficult at the beginning to find work in your sector. So teaching English as a foreign language can be a stopgap measure, and you teach English for a couple of years while you build up your own business. You don't have to teach English forever. Now, another reason why people take a TEFL course is, well, you've met someone from, let's say you've met a Spanish man or a Spanish woman and you'd like to settle down and maybe have a serious relationship with them. So you've decided to move here to Spain, or you're thinking of moving here to Spain, and you're worried about how you're going to support yourself. Well, the obvious thing you can do then is to work as a foreign language teacher. And if your partner is Spanish, they'll probably have their own network, and that's a good way for you to actually find people who you can teach English to. You know, take advantage of your connections. Another reason why you might want to take a TEFL course is that you're looking for flexible part-time work to fit around your other commitments. Maybe you've got a family, maybe you've got other projects, maybe you're studying and you just want to do part-time work. Teaching English as a foreign language can be very flexible. You can work just in the mornings, maybe at lunchtime, in the evenings. You can do online work. So there are lots of options here. You can make it quite a flexible job. And as I said, certainly in the smaller cities here in Spain, life is relatively cheap here, so you don't need a massive amount of money to get by. Another reason why you might want to take a TEFL course is if you're a creative person, musician, artist, writer, and you need that supplementary income. So I know lots of artists, actors, writers, musicians who do TEFL as a side gig, basically, and it pays the rent. Now again, you might be looking for work from home. Maybe you've got a family, maybe you're looking after elderly people, elderly relations. Who knows? Maybe for other reasons it's difficult for you to actually travel to work. So there's so much opportunity now for teaching English online or from home. You could have students come to your apartment or your house and you could give classes there. And finally, the 15th reason why I think you should take a TEFL course is you want to do a job which allows you to help other people. Learning English can make a huge difference in your students' lives. I mean, I know that I help people find work, pass university entrance exams, and move abroad, and that makes me feel pretty good about the job that I do. I have genuinely helped people make a difference in their life, and that makes me feel good. I'm not as rich as other friends I have who are working in other industries, but I do see the tangible benefits that my help has provided people. So, teaching English as a foreign or a second language is a boom industry at the moment. All over the world, people are determined to learn or improve their English skills, and that means that qualified teachers are very much in demand. It doesn't have to be a job for life, but it can be a lot of fun, and it's a great way to broaden your horizons and become a global citizen. If you can think of any other reasons why people might want a TEFL course, please let me know. And again, if you're interested in taking one of the world's most prestigious TEFL courses, the Trinity Cert TESOL, well, we run courses in Granada. So please get in touch by going to www.teachenglishspain.com. Okay, well, I hope to speak to you in the next episode of the Teach English Spain podcast. Bye for now.